What's good? Welcome to and welcome back to the channel. Just want to do a video for those that own a 2009 through 13, I do believe, Honda Pilot. Far as the entryway, it might be similar to the Odyssey. Far as if you're installing an amplifier or trying to put your subwoofers in, it was a little tedious for me to find this, and I was able to install my power wire here and run it over here to my fuse. I put these zip ties on here just to keep this from coming off. They used to screw in, now they just pop on, so I didn't want it to pop off or anything. So I ran my wire over here. I got extra, I didn't want to tuck it or anything. But if you go down in here, see if I can crank this a little better for you guys so you guys can see a little bit. But you have a wire harness back in here. See if we can crank it a little more. I think I might be at my capacity. I'm leaning, but there go my power wire, and it's a harness back here that I had to pull to the side. You'll feel it, you might not be able to see it, but let me fix my tripod again. All right, so once you get it through there, you're gonna definitely have to tuck this wire. I went with a 0 gauge, but you can also go with a 4 gauge or an 8 gauge wire. I came down through up in here, coming from that spot up top, and I went over, zip tie there behind my carpet. Okay, so when you're taking this off, you're gonna have to pop this up here and here. Okay, it's very tedious if you're running a 0 gauge, okay, because you really don't have much to be able to keep these pins secured. So you're gonna have to do some tucking. You're definitely gonna want to go under your carpet, okay, under your carpet. So this pops off after you pop this out. Okay, you're definitely gonna have to pop this off too. So in order to do that, this piece must come off. Okay, you see that? You see no 0 gauge nowhere, because I run my stuff professional on anybody's stuff that I install. So this has to come off. Okay, in order to do that, let me open up the other side of the back door, and you're gonna have to pop this one off first. Okay, it pops up here, this cover here, you're gonna have to pop it off and slide it that way a little bit. This one here goes all the way up to over here. So once you get over here, you're going to pop this out. So what I did was, when I ran my 0 gauge, I had to Dremel out a spot, because it has like a bracket that comes down like this, so, and it tucks behind there, so you don't want it to hit your seatbelt or nothing. But I use the Pilots and the Odysseys have 3 rows. So what I did was, I ran all my wires, and I decided, after thinking for about 2 hours while I'm doing this installation, I decided to mount my amp here, because this is 3 rows, and this seat will still be able to fold up, and I can remove my subs if I don't need to travel or anything, and I can leave my amp, remove my wires, and tape off my positive. So it'll be okay. You don't have to tape off your ground, but you want to tape off your positive. So when I decide to flip this seat up and take out my subwoofers if need be, I'll just take the subs out. You're only gonna have a little bit, especially if you're traveling. You only got so much space. If you flip your seat up, you only got a little bit. So if the case and I need to flip this up, I'll still be able to leave my amp, and still people will be able to sit in the third row. So just wanted to show that. I ran everything up and through the back side. After coming from this side, I had to go around under here, and I didn't do much. I just did some tucking. So once I came out over here, I was able to mount my amp. So that amp is mounted. You see what I went with. And these are only 10-inch subwoofers. Show you those guys real quick. Let me pull my seatbelt out the way. All right, so show you those guys real quick. And I do have a video on my channel, how to install subwoofers in any vehicle. It's pretty much straightforward for any vehicle. So I got my Scar Audio 10-inch subwoofers. So I went with a bigger amp. I do have the original, it came with the package, which was the 1200 watt, but I went with a bigger amp, turned down my gain, and that way I get more power and my amp doesn't overheat. So that's a 2000 watt rated amp, and this system is only rated for 1200 watts, but well, 2400 watts max. So I can kind of stretch my range on my bass knob so I don't damage my speakers. So I do that. They sound good. I haven't blown one yet because I don't like to turn it up too much, because if it sounds good, there's no need to go overboard. So my first row, second row, flip up my third row, which will be these guys up under these guys. Still have my little bit in the back, but you got to travel. And there is my amp. So I mounted this guy. Everything came out crispy. But if you are installing in a specific vehicle like this one, like I'm going to title it 2009 through 13 Honda Pilot, you're definitely going to want to run it around here. Some people might remove their intake to get to it if you are a professional, but in my case, you don't have to be a professional. But the way I did it, come around here, and you're gonna have some tedious spots trying to pull that grommet out the way over there to the side, but it'll go in. If you want to, you can put a little bit of lubrication or something on it to help it slide through the rubber, but you should be okay. So just wanted to do this video just for the purpose, if you have this specific vehicle. And it took me quite a bit of time to figure out where I was going to go as far as my power wire, because it's pretty thick on these. If the more wattage you want or need, that it's going to be pretty thick on pulling it through certain areas. You might be able to get a 4 gauge or a 8 gauge wire in there in order to run, you know, your basic amp. But if you're doing a 0 gauge, you're gonna have a little struggle. And I started to go from the passenger side and just run a little more wire, but it would have had a long run all the way over here, and I didn't really have access to be able to keep my wire a little long. And I finally found that area. So just wanted to say that. Hopefully this helps you out on your Honda Pilot installation of your subwoofers. And if you want, you can look up my channel. I believe I labeled it how to install an amplifier in any system / Dodge Nitro. So that was what I had at the time, and I was very detailed on how I ran the wires and everything. So hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe if this helps you out with your Honda Pilot if you're trying to run subwoofers. Till the next video, I'm out.